Hello, everybody. All right, so obviously today's video is a little late. You know, it is what it is. I'm still sick. I'm feeling a lot better though, which is good. And I did at some point want to make a review of the reverts, and then funny enough, Filtrophobe just kind of made an analysis of what's missing, notable changes. More so, what I wanted to talk about because I don't really care about the things that they did revert. I care about the things that they missed. Especially because when we look at it. First off, this one's crazy. This one doesn't matter. This is actually a good thing because if you guys remember, let me hit you with this one really quick. Um, this is a great revert for triple sevens players, simply for the fact that it used to cost 8. And so the big thing about this is probably one of the biggest reverts, funny enough, in my opinion. Um, this one used to cost 8, which means with your natural draw and then using triple sevens on your Swift Scale Trickster, there was a chance that this would be stuck at 1 mana and you'd brick. You can't brick anymore, which is a big thing. Maybe I will stop insulting, um, you know, sevens rogue. Maybe, probably won't though. I hate that deck. But anyways, so there were a ton, and I mean a ton of different things. In fact, I don't want to be that guy, but I also believe Painter's Virtue is kind of a big one. Granted, Libram Paladin is sort of already doing crazy shit. Um, blah 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 blah. Um, they're reverting it to now have lifesteal. I don't really think that matters much. I think if anything, they should have, you know, put it down to like 3 mana to make this one. But I swear to God, this used to see play in Wild, just like for a smidge of time. So I'm interested to see if lifesteal is going to change it, of which I highly doubt it. If they wanted hand buff to be a viable thing in Wild, they definitely would have. They definitely would have. Turn into 3. But anyway, a lot of these are I'm very happy to see them. Dreadhound Handler is a total, it doesn't fucking matter. Ethereal Oracle is actually a massive one. This will see play in Quasar, maybe even Hunter. I remember that Shagra as well really enjoyed when this card was at 3. I guess I am just going to talk about some of the changes, the only ones that I really care about. Reserve spot is not going to see play still to this day. I have no fucking clue why they decided to revert these 3. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Corpsicle is huge. Gives us a Reno DK win con, which is very nice. Kerrigan, getting her mana lowered by 1 is massive for Reno DK. Reno DK really hated when they lost this. Chrono Boost, it's not going to see much play. I believe that it only got hit by 1 mana, if I remember right. And I'm trying to do this all off memory. But if I remember right, it was just hit by 1 mana. Yeah, it used to cost 4. So the only difference that I could see this making is in Kel'Thas, Barnes Druid, where you use the 0 mana construct pylons, reduce your next Protoss card by 2. You can now reduce it down to 0 as opposed to 1, which is kind of a buff for that deck, but nobody really plays that deck anyway. And I am totally willing to eat shit on that one, but it is what it is. King Plush is dog shit. A lot of these ones don't really matter. I will say Murmur, I'm glad that he's back, but he's kind of dead in the water anyway. So on and so forth. Marin the Manager is going to see a massive, and I mean a massive amount of play in Astral Communion. That's about it. Hydration Station. It sucks that we don't have the old text back. Even Warrior stocks are going fucking up, and up, baby. But let's talk about the analysis of what's missing and notable changes. So first and foremost, Umpire's Grasp. And by the way, this is what my second thing looks like. So we are talking about every single card on here. So first and foremost, Umpire's Grasp is 4 mana 3/2. Used to cost 3, now it costs 4. Would have totally been harmless. I totally agree with Filchprobe here. Totally would have been, it wouldn't matter. It would have been so harmless that the shit just literally doesn't matter. Now he says target dummy. I don't think that he means target dummy. I think that what he means is what was that evil card that Warrior had? Let's see here. I believe he meant testing dummy. Yes, he meant testing dummy. I even opened up target dummy and I was like, that's wrong. All right, so he meant testing dummy 100% from Whizbang Workshop. So it still says deal 8 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. It used to just say among all enemies. Would have been irrelevant, would have been harmless, could have opened up something for Warrior. So the, Filterphobe, classic Aussie guy, total idiot, has no idea how to read or write. But it is what it is. Inventor Boom. This could have been big for, any Reno Bomb enjoyers out there? Any Reno Bomb Warrior enjoyers? It used to resurrect 2 friendly mechs instead of 2 different friendly mechs. That was the only functional change. Nothing else changed. It's always cost 8. It's always been an 8/7/7. Could have been neat. Overall, I don't see why they didn't revert this when they didn't revert Unkiliacs. It literally makes no sense whatsoever. The only issue previously was when you would resurrect 2 Unkiliaxes with it. And it's like, oh my fucking god, this card is evil. But if you resurrect 2 Iron Juggernauts or 2 Curators, because I see some plain Arena Warrior, or 2 safety experts, that really wouldn't matter too much. So I have no idea why they didn't revert that. Razzle Dazzler as well was a very, 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 very weird one. Because this one, again, it costs 7. It used to cost 6. I have no fucking idea why. I guess it's just because they didn't want to redo the buff. And I'm kind of seeing a pattern here. Especially with, he mentions Tsunami down here. Why they didn't revert Tsunami. I know why they didn't revert Tsunami. Because this is the original form of Tsunami. So maybe it's because they reverted it to its original. Or it's at its original, right? Because they did buff it, and then they nerfed it again to its original cost. So a revert to its original is this technically. I think that we could have done with the 6 mana version, but that's just me. Then we've got Incendious. Why the fuck Incendious isn't 6 mana literally beats me. I have no fucking idea why. This makes 0 sense whatsoever. It would have done nothing. No harm, no foul. Just opens up some extra cards that you get to play with. I have no idea why this wasn't done. Speaking of no idea why things haven't been done, why the fuck is Lightspeed not nerfed? Let's talk about that for a moment. But anyway, so now let's go to the Crystal Cove. It's a 3 mana. The next minion you summon this turn has its stat set to 4/4. Used to say 5/5. This would literally just not be an issue whatsoever. Absolutely no fucking problem whatsoever. The stat buff of 1/1 would have changed nothing. Absolutely nothing. So Filterphobe so far is totally right on that. I'm not going to talk about the Terran Starship pieces, but I 100% agree. They all should have been reverted to their original form, by the way. But anyway, next up is Sparkling File. It used to be 3 mana. Why is it 4 mana? We're not playing with Owlonius in Wild. This is incredibly slow in Malagos. In Kael'thas, Dungar, Malagos, it makes no difference because we're already cheating out enough mana. Makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. And maybe that's their thing, right? They're thinking, well, if it doesn't make a difference, why even revert it in the first place? I think that that's a pretty dog shit ideology to have. But overall, like, this would be totally harmless. If the only crime that would occur is, oh my god, some people would start playing it again, which is, apparently that's impossible for Blizzard to allow. They don't want you to be playing any cards. Surfapod, again, Filterphobe hitting us with his incredible spelling. It's Surflapod. It used to be a blah 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 blah. It used to just have more stats. That's it. It used to be a 4 mana 5/6 or a 5 mana 5/6. Now it's a 5 mana 4/4. They could have reverted it. Honestly, though, I don't see a point in reverting it necessarily, just because you are using it for stats. But then again, maybe just make it a 5 mana 5/5. Who gives a fuck? You don't use it for the stats. You use it for its text. So I don't really care about that one. And then obviously Infester. A lot of people hate this card. A lot of people think that this card was haunting low MMR Wild To which I say, oh, God forbid DK have one playable thing in the pits of dog shit MMR Wild. Ooh, that would have been scary. Yowza, yowza. That would have been crazy to have, DK have a playable deck. Could would have been a crime to let DK have a playable deck in like, Platinum 4. This 100% could have been reverted. I don't see why it wasn't. It also could have helped Reno DK, because an old version of Reno DK used to run Viper, used to run Kerrigan, used to run the spawning pool, which is, thank God, being reverted. And so when the Brood Queen, or whatever the fuck its name, Hive Queen, whoever, whenever she would generate one of these, that was a nice little like, ooh, yippee, here we go. Now we have some extra stats for my random minions. They decided, nope, way too oppressive. DK's not allowed to have good things. So I have no fucking idea why Blizzard decided to not revert this. My honest opinion on reverts is that they should have reverted literally every single thing except maybe Dollmaster Dorian, obviously, and Treasure Distributor. Because I kind of forgot about that one when I used to talk about this. Treasure Distributor and Dollmaster Dorian probably should never have been reverted, but it is what it is. I do think that he hit it right on the head. All these cards absolutely could have been reverted and would not have affected the wild meta and would not be an issue in the long term. It's a little baffling to see their absence. It's also quite sad to not see the StarCraft set fully reverted. It was a highly thematic set and enjoyable for most players and never actually strong and wild. Not reverting it is a miss for homebrewers and off-meta enjoyers all around. 100%, I agree. And if anybody says, oh, yeah, this StarCraft set is strong, Carrier gets played in Ash Communion, that's not because the StarCraft set is strong. That's just a matter of, hey, it's pretty strong when you have, a card that typically you ramp up to. You could just play it on turn 4 instead, and it deals a massive amount of damage. That's not an issue with the StarCraft set. That's an issue with Astro Communion itself. But, neither here nor there. Missing safe reverts that would see play. Bob single minion removal. So if you guys remember, sorry, I sound like shit, but if you guys remember, this used to say, instead of put a copy of an enemy minion into your hand, your opponent gets 3 coins. It just said, put an enemy minion into your hand. So, this is the crazy thing. I think he missed on this one. Personally, I would have loved if Bob got reverted, right? Because I'm a dickhead. I'm a piece of shit. I want to steal things from people. I want to fucking pillage their decks. My favorite card ever is King Togwaggle. There is something so awesome about literally just taking my opponent's cards away. And I can at least acknowledge that is a really feels bad mechanic. That is absolute dog shit. The amount of times that a Yogg-Saron gets played from like a Communion Druid and they steal one of my important minions or something. And then I sit there and I go, oh my fucking God, dude. Yeah, I don't see why we need a 6-mana mind control. And it's not even a mind control. It's a 6-mana power word steal. If anything, return an enemy minion into your hand. It's a 6-mana 4/5 power word steal that gives your opponent 3 coins. I don't think that this should have been reverted. I personally would have loved if it got reverted, but I think overall it would not be healthy or not be enjoyable to be reverted. So this is officially the first miss, the first whiff that I think that Filterphobe put on here. I don't think that this should have been. I don't think that this should have been reverted at all. So personally, I would have loved it, but I can also acknowledge it definitely shouldn't have. So I'm okay with it not being reverted. That's that on that. I don't think that this should have been reverted. I'm a little bit sad it's not, but I'm overall glad that it wasn't. Sock. Sorry, guys. Sock Puppet Slither Spear. The only difference is it used to have 3 health. Now it's a 1/2. I don't think that would have been an issue. I think that is the definition of a safe revert that would see play. People loved that card. DH loved that card, and I don't think that it was an issue when that card would be played. All it was you know, you see it drop on the board, you go, fuck, I gotta remove that. I think I think it's fine to have some cheap threats. That was a good one. I think it's okay to have some cheap threats where you sit there and you go, fuck, I gotta remove that. Treasure Distributor though took that way too far, so that's why I don't agree with Treasure Distributor. Glow sticks used to be able to hit face. That's literally it. Yeah, that would have saw play in Librams because great card, just a great card overall. Sigil of Skydiving used to summon 3/1/1 pirates with charge. Now it only summons 2/1/1 pirates with charge. This is an interesting one. I fucking hate. You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure in this movie they just hit the sidewalk and die. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure if this is a 100% safe revert. I think it's safe in the fact that it wouldn't be overbearing, but it would have probably been the strongest one out of all of these cards to get reverted, except maybe Bob. Because Pirate DH is a pretty good deck already, right? Pirate DH is a pretty decent deck, I would say. And you know what? Let me put my money where my mouth is for a moment here and actually pull up. Okay, I pull up. Pull up how okay, so the first one that I pop up, Pirate DH, minimum 850 games. It's absolutely fucking smacking people in Diamond to Legend, right? But if we go to like the past 2 weeks, right? And then go into top 1K, and then we'll probably, hey, look at that. 560, it's a low sample. It's a low sample, but obviously it would have been pretty good. It would have been pretty damn good. It would have also been really fucking crazy with Adrenaline Fiend. I'm not sure if this would have been the most healthy revert ever. It would have been a strong revert. It would have been a very strong revert. I'm a little glad that it's not. I think that if Treasure Distributor got reverted, this card would be ran even as just a 2/1/1. Because if you can tempo out a distributor on one, and your opponent's like a sit there do nothing deck, they can't fucking kill it. They never fucking kill the thing. And then all of a sudden you got like distributor is now like a fucking 5/2 by turn 5. Everything has a million stats, and it fists you. I think it would have been a strong revert. Almost on the side of like, maybe we shouldn't, but overall, I think it would have been fine. Adrenaline Fiend would have seen a notable buff from this card. I think it was a bit slow, and what was interesting is for a short while there was Pirate Shaman. Pirate Shaman was around with Cookie the Cook, or whatever the fuck the stupid idiot's name is. That was using the unnerfed Sigil of Skydiving. I think that would have been fine. I think it would have been the strongest revert out of all of them, but I think it would have been fine. Portalmancer Skyla. Literally the only difference is that she would have cost 5. I don't think that this one matters, because it would be a 5-mana 4/5. It would be cool in, you know, big spell mage to have like your fucking galactic projection orb or your sunset volley or something on turn 5 to cost like 0 mana because of coin or something like that. I think that that would have just been more interesting, because the only thing that we got so far for mage right now is like imprisoning your opponent in an endless game of torture, or just blasting their face with girls. And if you guys don't know what the fuck I mean by blasting their face with girls or girls mage, then, you know, if you know, you know, and if you don't worry about it. All right, another one is Divine Brew. Pretty much all that it was is if they already had Divine Shield, they gained +1 attack, and it was only for this turn. That would have saw play. That could have seen a lot of play with Sunsapper Lanessa doubling it up, because then it would cast twice, which then gives 2 attack. So for 3 whole mana, you got 6 attack. Whoa! That would have saw play. That would have been perfectly safe, and I 100% agree with that. We got Brain Masseuse. Brain Masseuse, literally all it used to be is a 2/4. That's all it is. I don't see why it doesn't, you know, yeah, absolutely. Just revert it. There's no reason not to. Metal Detector. Now, Metal Detector is an interesting one. This was really, really, really strong in Hostage Mage. So it used to just be after you attack and kill a minion, you get a coin. And that was it. That was the whole thing. If they reverted it to its original form where it was a 3-mana 2/2 with that, I think that that would have been perfectly reasonable. I think that it could have been perfectly reasonable as a 3-mana 3/2 after you attack at a coin. There's not too much difference there. You get 1 coin versus 2. But other than that, I think it would have been a perfectly fine revert. It was really the only actual removal that Hostage Mage was running, funny enough. So I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be it shouldn't be reverted. Orbital Halo, why the fuck this wasn't reverted blows my mind. They used to say give a minion +2/+1. Now it's just +1/+1. Literally no reason not to revert it. 100% agree there. Would have saw a play, which sucks, but it is what it is. Seashill. It used to say the next card you play from a non-rogue class costs 2 less. Now you could bank this discount across turns. This was a fantastic card. This is a wonderful card. I believe it did see a little bit of play in Hostage Mage. You used to be able to use it to cheat out a little bit of shit. So it kind of sucks that this didn't end up getting reverted. This just kind of would have opened up a little bit of shit for Mage to do. Would have opened up some shit for I believe Paladin to do as well. I think the Paladin had a Rogue tourist, right? Yeah, since Cyberlanessa. I think that this would have been perfectly fine. I think it would have saw play. I think it would have saw healthy play as well. The fact that Zergling didn't get reverted to summon a copy is fucking criminal. It used to just say summon a copy, now summons a 1/1 Zergling. Oh no, God forbid. You get to open up some hand buffing for other classes. Absolutely disgusting. I have no idea why they didn't do this. Alright. Now, potentially risky reverts, okay? Potentially risky reverts. So his first one on the board is Flickering Lightbot. It used to be 3 mana. I think at 3 mana, yeah, you would have saw a disastrous amount of Libram Paladin. I don't think that this one should get reverted whatsoever. I think it's fine to have them brick out a bit on this 1 minion. Because by the time that they were playing the 3/3, odds are they were also playing the fucking 8/8. And it just left Libram Paladin with this extra, almost relentless feeling against those slower decks. Now, I don't have an issue with a deck that is relentless against slower decks, but the current iteration of Libram Paladin is, in my opinion, one of the healthiest decks right now. I genuinely 100% believe that Libram Paladin, besides fucking Cold Feet and Rebuke, I hate those fucking cards! I think that it's a perfectly fine deck. I think that your opinion on Libram Paladin is kind of a litmus test on how you view the speed of the format. I think that Lightbot would have pushed the needle a little bit towards like, okay, now things are getting a little extreme, a little fast. I'm not sure. But I think it would have been perfectly fine. Maybe it would have been a little on the strong side. Maybe make it a 4. Maybe make it a 4. Just kind of open up the door a little bit for Libram to be a little bit stronger, but don't immediately give them like a fucking 3/3 and a 5/5 with taunt and a 7/6 with taunt and this and that on like turn 4, right? Because by the time that it's turn 4, roughly, you're playing out your 5/5s with taunt, or 7/6s if you hit the nuts on your Libram discounts, right? Because of Libram of Clarity giving them +2/+1. It would have been risky. I think we could have dropped it to 4, though. Okay? I think we could have dropped it to 4. That's my opinion. Playhouse Giant. Why the fuck this wasn't reverted blows my mind. It cost 25. Used to cost 20. Used to be somewhat playable. Now it is dog shit unplayable. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? It used to see play in a 7s rogue, I believe. And now it just simply can't. Because it costs 20 fucking 5, dude! Everything Must Go was the crazier card in that, but that got reverted, so whatever. All right, Wheel of Death. Destroy your deck in 5 turns. Destroy the enemy hero. How this used to work is it used to be end of turn. So things like Drakari Enchanter would turn it twice per turn. You got to think this is 4 mana. This is a 4 mana spell. How is it 4 mana spell? It says 8 Blood Bloom. You would lose 8 HP. You would fucking eviscerate your deck, and then you would play out like a Drakari Enchanter to take it by 2. It's an alternative win con, and honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think it was potentially risky at all. I don't think it was potentially risky whatsoever. I don't know why he put it here. Considering the card was never playable in Wild, however, one must exercise caution with alt win cons, which is why it's potentially risky. Fuck that. I don't care. I don't think that alternative win cons are that risky, especially one that is so strictly time gated, even with a revert, how you could speed it up. I think it would be perfectly reasonable. So I think that putting it here, just by nature of it being a an alternative win condition, not sure on that one, but I think it would have been totally fine, and thus I'm going to consider putting it here a whiff, even though he does justify it was never playable in Wild in the first place. Now, if we had 2 mana Blood Bloom, first up, there'd be a load of different issues. Yeah, maybe I can see something. Maybe I can see something with it. Why not? But also blowing up your deck on turn 2 or turn 1 with coin is generally speaking not good. All right, Seabreeze Chalice. Oh, my beloved. Dude. I am so upset. I am so upset that this did not get reverted. Yes, it definitely would have been risky. I'll give him that. This one would have been risky. With Malagos, the shit would have dealt like fucking 7 damage each. Because it deals 2 damage plus 5, so 7. So 3 drinks is an immediate fucking 21 damage. It would have been absurd. Spell damage Druid would have came back on the spot immediately. Spell damage Druid would have been back even with Magical Dollhouse at 2, because it was a slower kind of control-y combo deck, or it was a slower control-y deck with a combo finish, and the combo was playing out a few street tricksters, clicking your Magical Dollhouse, and just letting that bad puppy rip. I mean, just fucking chalice, 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 chalice. Would it have been risky? Absolutely. Absolutely. Making this thing deal face damage again would have been a little risky. But I think we can handle it. I think we can handle it. If fucking light speed exists, we can handle it. I don't care. Revert the motherfucker, please. Magical Dollhouse, I don't know why this isn't reverted, considering Barnes Druid is dead. And, I don't know. Who gives a fuck? This could have been reverted, in my opinion. Alright, Sing Along Buddy. I don't know why the fuck he had... What was his justification? Sing Along Buddy not getting reverted is purely for Reddit. Imbue Mage was a bad deck with Sing Along at 2, and will continue to be a bad deck with Sing Along at 3, but I don't think the dev team could handle the harassment campaign that would have followed if it got reverted. Fuck, dude. Devs should not listen to their players when their players are playing in, like, dog shit elo. This could have been 100% just reverted to 2. I don't care. Sonya Water Dancer. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't care if this could have been risky. I care that things get enhanced. I care that things get more things are playable as a result of reverts, and thus I don't mind if this got reverted. I think it should have been, and that's about it. Mystery Egg. This was like literally the best deck in Wild for a while. So it used to say there were a few iterations of this, by the way. So it used to cost 5, and the Death Rattle would be, it cost 5 less. Then it became, it cost 4 less, and it cost 4. If I remember right, technically speaking, I think that the strongest iteration of this was when it was 4 and 4. It removed the Princess Hurahan thing, But then people started playing mines with what was it called? Like Mockthar line or some shit. I don't remember the line with Rush, blah 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 blah. This was at one point, I swear to God, it was almost one of the best decks in Wilder. It was like really high tier 2, very low tier 1. Um Overall, I don't care. Revert it. I think I think it definitely probably shouldn't have gotten reverted. But overall, because he says it was a great idea to not revert. I think if anything, we could revert it to the 5/5 as opposed to 4/4. I swear to God, it was better at 4/4 than it was at 5/5. The only thing is that people romanticize 5/5 because they used to be able to play Princess Hurahan, or however the fuck you say her name. But I'm of the opinion it should be reverted. I think it's fine. Granted, it probably would have been an issue again because it technically had an infinite clear, right? At 4/4, you would do the only beasts you were running was the Mockthar, whatever the fuck, lion. And you would be able to infinitely clear your opponent's board. That was probably an issue. Especially because you're running around. You know what? I'm changing my mind on this immediately. It is probably it's overall a very good thing that this was not reverted, because having an infinite board clear on like 4 or 5 as a 40 health individual that's also setting up for a combo probably was not a good idea. So you know what, Filtro, you are right. Timewinder Zarimi. Timewinder Zarimi used to say, if you summoned 8 other dragons, and then also once upon a time it said if you've summoned 5 other dragons. What the fuck were they smoking when they made it summon 5 and then went, okay, we'll summon 8, and now it's play 8. Play 8 is steep. In the future, if they keep printing good dragons, Reno Dragon Priest comes back, secret agent coming through, maybe you could play this as some form of like a top end something or other, maybe. But overall, as it stands, I think that this is a good future proof, because as we know, extra turns are quite scary. Quasar, dude, fuck you. I don't care about turbo combo. Let us turbo combo. I'm okay with a few turbo combos. Quasar, functionally, the only difference here is instead of running prep to Quasar, you were running Swiftscale Trickster to Quasar. Either one bricks about equally, except if you would draw prep off of a Knick-Knack Shack the same turn that you ended up Quasaring, because then the Knick-Knack Shack would get reverted, or, you know, refreshed, and then you could draw again, and so on and so forth. With Swiftscale Trickster, you wouldn't be able to do that because Swiftscale Trickster would cost 1. Overall, I think that putting a brick in this deck is perfectly reasonable, especially since they reverted Ethereal Oracle. Ethereal Oracle being reverted down to 3 means it's free in this deck. That is fucking insane. That is absolutely fantastic. That's a great hit for Quasar. So I think that it's perfectly reasonable the Quasar is staying. Dollmaster, or Puppet Master Dorian, whatever the fuck Dorian, who gives a shit. This guy was literally Hitler. So unfortunately, as much as I absolutely adored this guy, yeah, Togwaggling and in charge OTKing people on turn 3 probably wasn't healthy. So yeah, unfortunately that is correct. Travel Master Dungar, being played at 10 mana versus 9 mana, there's really not too big of a difference right now. He used to just be 9, now he's 10. Didn't really matter much in the long term. It was still perfectly playable, and people still play the fuck out of it anyway. So yeah, probably don't revert a thing that's already strong and wild. All right, Filtro, I don't care. Revert Scoundrel, fuck you, brother. Revert Scoundrel, I don't care. Rogue combos are the most interesting combos out there. I 100% think that they should revert this. And I'm totally not still salty over Draka Rogue being fucking shot in the head, and then, you know, every single other iteration of Combo Rogue that I've ever enjoyed getting shot in the fucking head. Sorry, Pillager. Sorry, Alex. Sorry, Scoundrel. Sorry, Scab. Sorry, Draka. I'm totally not salty about any of that. Dude, Rogue is not allowed to have fun combos in Wild. The second that they have fun combos in Wild, they get shot. Chemical Spill not going down to 5 after being 6, 7. I think that it was fine to have it at 5 for Thaddeus Warrior. Just because Thombo Warrior sucked dick. It sucked ass. I made a few videos on it. It sucked shit. It was bad. It was bad. I think it's fine to have a bad turbo combo deck in, in the format. Especially because some of them were very interesting, right? Some of them were really, really interesting, like Tog Warrior. Try playing Tog Warrior now. Yeah, you fucking can't. So, overall, I think it would have been fine to revert this simply because, yes, it's part of a turbo, combo strategy. It's a turbo combo strategy on 5. I think 5 is reasonable, especially when it sucked. Wasn't good. It was pretty inconsistent. Wasn't all that great. And as a result, I think it was perfectly reasonable, perfectly fine to have in the meta. Even the charge version was overall the best, and it still was like a 51 win rate deck. On turn 5, by the way. So, again, and if it missed on turn 5, you had to go on turn 7. So, generally speaking, it sucked ass. I think it would have been a perfectly fine one. So, I'm gonna call it a whiff on that one. Treasure Distributor. Thank fucking God this guy is dead. Oh my God. Why it ever had this text in the first place, I have no idea. I also don't know why he lists it as a revert, because this wouldn't be a revert to its original form. This would be a revert to a buffed form. So I don't even know why he has it on there, considering its original text is what it has now. It is currently reverted. There's no revert to happen. They don't typically revert things to their strongest form. But maybe he thought that they might. They never would have, because that's not the original form. So I don't know why it's on there. Same thing with Tsunami, by the way. Sleep of the Stars, I don't see an issue with this at 7. If anything, it would have resulted in you being able to, at 9 mana, refresh 2 mana. I have no issue with that. I have no idea why he considered it risky or like broken. Let's see. Sleep of the Stars would be a large power outlier in numerous decks if they got reverted. This he's playing like Reno Druid, maybe. Reno Warrior for a 7 for Elise. Elise is being nerfed, by the way. This would not have been an issue in my opinion. I think this would have been perfectly reasonable, if anything. I think it's a little embarrassing that it's not, especially because previously it could have cost fucking 10 mana. It wouldn't matter. We were sealing the motherfucker anyway. Again, it doesn't matter what the mana cost of this is, because now you're Kel'Thasing it. Yeah, overall, this would not have been an issue. I think this could have easily cost 7. No issue whatsoever. Tsunami. He lists this as a revert. Again, it's already reverted. I don't know why he put this on there. When it initially came out, it did in fact cost 8, and it did in fact summon 3 of them, which is what it currently is. I don't know why he has it listed as like, oh, thank God they didn't revert it. They already did. They did when it was, they did in the course of 3 months. Sorry, 2 months. They changed it after it being out for like 25 days, and then they immediately reverted it fucking 2 months later. So I don't know why this is on here in the first place. Conniving Conman, thank fucking God. Oh my God. This used to say, replay the last card you've played from a non-rogue class. This was fucking evil. This was disastrously strong in Hostage Range. This was fucking stupid. This was such a frustrating card. It was just like another Frost Node, another Solid Alibi, another Ice Block. Playing your cards right with it. This was the time where like Hostage Mage probably had the highest ceiling of any deck. Any deck playable. So yeah. Thank fuck, dude. Rip Bozo, dude. Rest in piss, motherfucker. All right. And then, interestingly enough, I'm not sure where Tidepool Pupil would be broken at 1 mana compared to 2 mana. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I have no idea where this would be broken at 1 mana. It's just like for Hostage Rage, it's just plus 1 mana. If they're playing Tidepool Pupil, they're already there, right? They already have, generally speaking, the mana requirements to be using Tidepool Pupil. I really don't see where this would be an issue, especially because Sonya Water Dancer was not reverted. If Sonya Water Dancer was reverted, then yeah, by all means, keep it at 2. I don't really see why this is kept at 2 right now. All right, Missing Ziliax, the most nerfed card in Hearthstone history, is staying fully nerfed, which is weird because a few of the options probably could have been changed. Pylon Module, +1/+1, could get a Revert. Virus Module, Stealth, Reborn, Poisonous, maybe Elusive. Could really be either partially or fully reverted. Honestly, in my opinion, do not revert the Stealth. Revert, Elusive, Poisonous, and Reborn. Give Unkiliax back, but I don't think the Stealth should come back. Because Mechrogue would use that, stealth it up, have it doubling its attack every fucking turn, and you'd be put on a timer against a deck that can go tall as fuck, dude. That deck could get tall, man. So, yeah. Yeah, and also, yeah, the ticking module was fucking outrageous. I think that Raz the Resealed should... Yeah, it would have been unhealthy. It would have been annoying watching your opponent play, like, fucking infinite cards on turn 5. I think it was a very romanticized idea. But... whatever, dude. Whatever. Fucking... Let me play infinite cards. Maybe... Accessibility. There are people who play with slow devices and poor internet. Fuck them. There are people who play with chronic injuries or conditions such as blindness. They also cannot utilize this effect. May, if you're watching this, fuck them. I'm so sorry, May. But also, yeah, animation cheating would it would go literally infinite, actual infinite, and even without animation cheating, you'd have had a freak like Dreadshot. Every single motherfucker would think that Dreadshot is cheating on this. I've watched Dreadshot play. I've never seen a faster player in my life. I'm not even joking. I've never seen a chick who is picking random discover options. And I'm not fucking with you. Within 3 frames of them being shown. 3 options, mind you. 3! She was able to figure out which 3 of the options would benefit her the most and grab it within 3 frames of it showing up. It was disgusting. It was genuine. Oh my god. Yeah, it definitely would have been unhealthy as fuck. I would have loved it. I would have fucking loved it. But I understand why they didn't. So, fuck. Yeah, Lightspeed should have been shot in the fucking head. Cecil's bans being left at 100 mana is a little disappointing for me personally. The card had to get banned because its mana cost when it first launched, and Holy Red died for its sins, leaving a 100 mana card in the pool will be a looming threat on the format, given that designs around the cost of cards is generally a thing Blizzard does. Furthermore, Lava Gorger Cease is quite uninteresting to play against, given how simple it is and that it effectively ends the game on turn 4 most of the time, but not always, potentially forcing people to stick around. I would have liked to see Ceaseless get reworked to be a 20 to 30 cost card with an altered effect, and it's disappointing not to see that happen. I'm not sure if people realize my nuanced take on Ceaseless Expanse. I think that not Ceaseless Expanse, Holy Wrath. I think that Holy Wrath being able to deal up to 25 damage, maybe even 30, I don't really care. Perfectly reasonable. It was never an issue in the entirety of Wild. The only time that it became an issue was when Expanse came out. And then they nerfed a bunch of cards around Expanse Holy Wrath, and then they nerfed fucking Holy Wrath. Absolutely putrid, absolutely disgusting. If you guys are gonna do the boring ass thing of up to 10 on Draka, and yes, I'm still mad, up to 10 on Draka, then fuck it, dude. Do the same shit for Holy Wrath, up to 25. Boom. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want with the mana cost of cards, blah, blah, blah. All I can say is Even Warrior's so back. All right. Questionable reverts. Most of the reverts are quite safe, but there's a few question marks in my opinion. Boogie Down, Buffed, and Tigress Plushie. Now, Tigress Plushie is a big one. Tigress Plushie is a big one that I somehow did not open yet. I also didn't open Boogie Down. So, Tigress Plushie, boom. And Boogie Down, boom. All right, so, weirdly enough, Boogie Down, the original form of it used to be cost 3, summon 2 1-cost minions from your deck, finale, give them taunt. So it only ever summon out 2 1-costs. They're reverting the mana cost, but they're leaving the effect. So for 3 mana, you summon 3 1-cost minions from your deck. I don't really view this as big of an issue. I don't really see. This will absolutely have an effect on the meta, and it will be interesting to see how large. I'm not sure on that. Filter Foam's 100% a much better player than I am, but I don't see why this would be that crazy when you can just play CTA instead. Sure, it's 3 mana. It only summons 1 costs, while CTA is a little flexible for 1 extra mana. For 4 mana, you could summon out 6 mana worth of minions. Those minions typically are overstated or have something interesting about them. It's kind of fucking over their opponent. I don't see that same level of craziness with Boogie Down. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. I'm gonna slightly disagree. I don't think that it's gonna have a massive thing, a massive effect on the meta or really change the meta in any way. However, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. Tigress Plushie. Dude, what? Why does Paladin get their 3 mana Rush, Lifesteal, Divine Shield 3/2 back? The fuck is up with that? That's going to be ran in every single deck ever. But anyway, that is my idea, my opinion on a bunch of the reverts. Obviously, I'm not covering every single one of them because there's like a fucking million of them. And more so, I wanted to critique the ones that I saw here because I'm like, you know what? Honestly, yeah, a bunch of the ones that they already revert, totally fine. Who gives a fuck? Whatever. They're safe or they're just not going to matter at all. Meanwhile, there's a few here that are like, okay, why? Why? Or even better, why not? But that is going to do it. Again, this is a one-take video, so that is all you're getting. There's going to be no intro, obviously. You've watched until this point, so you know that there's no intro. And there's no outro. No formal outro. That being said, comment down below what you guys think. And, oh, ew, he still said 125 warrior. Fucking stupid Chungus. It's actually a 100 warrior now. Yeah, even warrior, idiot. But anyways, that is going to do it for me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Comment down below what you guys think on most of this stuff. Flood warning. Fuck you, dude. Yeah. Comment down below. Your gripes, your this, that's, and I like reading this stuff. Peace.